Okay, still some good books coming in the chat if anyone needs some books or
Yep.
podcasts.
Keep
Super
bringing them.
fun. Keep bringing them. We love them. We need ideas. Um, okay, so it's Tool Time Tuesday. We're on session 93. And we're going to talk about Adobe Acrobat today. Because I was thinking about the fact that I use this off and on, not every day, and some of you may be more expert than me, so feel free to share, as we go along, if you've learned cool tips and tricks too. Or any of you are also welcome to present anytime if you'd like to bring your expertise to Tool Time Tuesday. So, okay, so I don't know if you know, but I'm Larissa and my co-host is Leslie. Some of you have been here so many times, you're tired of me seeing the slide. We're from the Research Medical Library. You can find us at mdanderson.org/library. Ask us questions. We're here for you. We've got your back. I did want to mention that there's a session next week that you can find on the inside calendar called Generational Dynamics in the Workplace. And this speaker actually has a book as well that we have in the Libby app if you're interested in reading it or listening. I don't remember if it's audio or text-based, but the session should be really interesting. So if you're interested in generational dynamics, this could be good, the session for you. It's on the inside calendar. So we also have some upcoming classes. We have writing persuasive R01 proposals. We have a class on Image Twin, which I sent out this morning. It's a new tool from the library. I sent out some information about it this morning. And then we have a class on predatory publishing. So also on the institutional calendar or the library calendar. But without further ado, I know the slide is super red, but Adobe is super red. So we're going to talk about Adobe Acrobat. I think red can be a little bit jarring, but that's their logo. So jumping right in. The default we have on our computers is Acrobat Reader. So when you open a PDF, you're using Acrobat Reader. It only does basic things like you can view the PDF, you can print the PDF, you can share some files, you can add some basic comments and markups. But there's also Acrobat Pro. You can request Pro through 4Info. I think it's in the Software Center. It's a little complicated, Acrobat Pro, but if you need Acrobat Pro and what we're going to look at today, contact 4Info. I promise it's available. They don't want everyone to have a license if they're not going to actually use it because it costs money. So be thoughtful if you download it. But Acrobat Pro lets you do more than just read the PDF and print it. You can convert the PDF to Word, to Excel, to PowerPoint. We're going to look at that. You can turn scanned documents into editable, searchable PDFs, and you can actually combine documents. So we're going to look at these things in Acrobat Pro. So just remember, you may have Reader on your computer, but I'm looking at Pro today, and that's one you can get through 4Info. It's like the upgraded version. When you're using Acrobat, you want your main sort of navigation is at the top. Your home tab is where all your recent files are and where you're going to maybe open up a recent file. So you can always go back home if you're looking for a file you've worked on recently. Your tools tab is where all the tools we're going to talk about today are under tools. They're in more than one place, but tools is where you find them if you're missing a tool. And then any other tab that opens up are your actual PDFs you're working on or documents that you're working on. So your navigation mostly is going to be up here and then also on the right. On the right, there is a search bar. This is something I've never used before prepping for this presentation. You can use the search bar in Adobe to search for a tool. So instead of going to the tools tab and try to, I don't know why, but sometimes it overwhelms me. If you can't find a tool, just use the search bar, search for a keyword, and the tools will pop up for you. So the tools we're talking about today, you'll use that search bar in Adobe to search for a tool. Oh yeah, Javier's here, and he's more expert than me. You should be teaching this, but yes, if you have Adobe Acrobat DC, you should have all these options. That's the thing, is they're called different things, and I don't totally know why they're called different things, but Acrobat DC should work for you. Okay, so first things first, all of us, I think, probably have to search a document from time to time. So probably most of you use the Control F control on your keyboard. I don't know if any of you don't use it, but Control F is what you use to pop up the find search box so you can search for text in a document. It's super handy. Not every document is going to be searchable though. So you can use Adobe to make a document searchable. So if you open a PDF and it's not searchable, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Tools and you're looking for Scan and OCR. What it's going to do is it's going to scan the whole document and make the words searchable for you and for the next person who views it. So Tools, Scan, and OCR. The toolbar is going to open at the top up here, which is kind of, you know, sometimes I forget, but just look at the top here and your toolbars here. And you're going to select Recognize Text. And I think it pops up a thing that says which file you're using if you don't have a file open. There are also settings that you can change. If you choose Recognize Text, it'll go through and start recognizing it, so it'll be searchable. But there are some settings you can choose. Under Output, you can choose Searchable Image, which straightens up the image a little bit if you've scanned it and it's crooked, and it makes it searchable. There's also Searchable Image Exact, which does not straighten the image, but it makes it searchable. Now, why would we not straighten the image? It's apparently sometimes for historical or legal documents, we might not want to straighten an image. Most of us are going to just use the default searchable image. But you can also use editable text and images, and that's a third option. But really all you have to do is go to Scan and OCR, Recognize Text, and it's going to make the document searchable for you. You can edit the PDF too. This is probably the most handy tool. There's lots of different ways to edit, but all you have to do is have your PDF open and choose Edit PDF. What Acrobat's going to do is put text, it's going to put blocks around the text. So it's kind of weird editing. It's not as comfortable as editing in Word, but it will put these blocks around the text. When you click in the text block, you can make changes. Those changes are going to allow you to do things like change the font, bold things. These tools don't work quite as smoothly as Word just because there may be a font in there that you don't have. Like somebody else created it and they had a font downloaded you don't have. So you may not be able to find everything, but you can do basic editing in here. What you cannot do with Acrobat is you can't edit images. So text is really the focus here. This is what it looks like when you click edit. These are the text boxes I was referring to. So it's kind of awkward. You can easily drag and drop these and make it out of line again. So be careful with the text boxes, but you can edit within each of these boxes if you need to. There's also an additional, this is just a tip for editing. Sometimes when you edit in these boxes, you'll return the line and it'll kind of overlap the next line of text. And you're just like, no. You could change the font, but that might mess some things up. One tip you could try is you can choose horizontal scaling. So there's this T icon with arrows. You can just scale down a little bit and it might squish the box up enough so that it doesn't overlap the next line. So it's just something you can try when you're editing that text so nothing overlaps. But hopefully if you're editing a PDF, you're just doing slight edits. If you have the original document, I would suggest you edit the original document you have, like it was a Word doc or a PowerPoint or whatever, because Adobe is really meant for slight edits. It's not meant for, you to re-edit the whole thing. Although if you're really good at it, you probably could get away with that. You can also create links in your PDF. So if you save a PDF and you want to make sure all the links in that PDF are clickable and workable, you can go to Tools and Edit Page, and it's going to pop up this little link icon here. If you choose Auto Create Web Links from URLs, it's going to look for URLs in the document and it's going to try to make them into URLs. There are a few pop-ups after you click Auto Create because it wants you to be sure that you can't go back after you create them. Not sure why you would want to go back, but just to let you know. So always good to have a backup copy of your document in case you edit and it goes awry. But all you have to do is click Auto Create Web Links from URLs. Everything will that's it sees as a URL will become one. You can edit those. So if you want to see which links were added, you go back to that link icon and you can add or edit web or document links. This just highlights all the links in the text in the PDF for you, so you can make sure everything you thought should be your URL is a URL. So link, add and edit, link and auto create. It's pretty simple. Just find the link icon. If something doesn't get linked and you want it to be linked, so sometimes we just want to link text, and you can do that as well. You can go to that edit PDF and you're going to click on your select tool. Your arrow icon is your select tool, and that helps you do a lot of things in Adobe. You will go to that link icon. You'll choose add or edit a web document link, and you're going to just draw a rectangle around whatever text you want to link. A box is going to pop up and it's going to give you a couple of options. I usually just keep this pretty much the same, but you want to make sure that you choose open a web page so that you can actually paste the URL in and click OK. So basically you're just clicking link, add or edit link, make sure you have your arrow, highlight the text you want linked, and then choose open a web page and copy paste the URL in there. If you want to view the links or you want to edit them, you can use the hand icon to hover over a link. You can also right click on a link to edit it. So if you typoed it or just want to add a different link, just right click on your link and you can edit that there. Bookmarks are also super, super handy. So some of you probably use them in Word. You can also use them in Adobe. You can also, if you've created a Word document with bookmarks, you can save it as a PDF to maintain those bookmarks. But if you're working in PDF and you want to, working in Adobe and you want to save bookmarks so the PDF is more navigatable, I don't know how to say that. You can choose Edit PDF. You're going to use that arrow tool again. You're going to select the text you want to bookmark. So just put your cursor in the text where you want it bookmarked. And you can choose New Bookmark. So this is the bookmark icon. If you read ebooks, you've probably seen this before. The plus sign just shows that you're going to add a bookmark. Then if you have regrets or want to change it, you can right click on any bookmark to edit or rename it. You can also nest bookmarks under one another. So in your bookmarks bar, which will open up on the right, you can click and drag and drop a bookmark onto an existing bookmark. And if you drag it under and a little bit to the right, it'll nest underneath. So it'll be like a sub bookmark. Bookmarks are just really helpful to make it easier for other people, especially for a huge document, click to the section that they want to view. So bookmarks are super easy. Essentially, you're putting your cursor in the text and you're adding a bookmark. And just make sure you name them something that makes sense too. For your bookmarks setting, you can create, you can save the PDF. So when someone else opens it, the bookmarks will pop out immediately. Now, the reason you might want to do that is, again, it's a huge, maybe it's a huge PDF. You want people to be able to click on the bookmark and get to the section they need. So before you send your PDF, you can update your properties so your bookmarks appear immediately for anyone who's going to view the PDF. So in Adobe Acrobat, you're going to go to File, Properties. You're going to select this initial view and make sure that under the Navigation tab, Bookmarks panel and page is opened up. This, again, just means when you send it to, I'm going to send my PDF to Leslie, she'll open it. She'll be able to see my bookmarks right away. She doesn't have to click on anything to see the bookmarks. They'll pop out for her so she can go ahead and start looking through the PDF. Okay, someone asked about protecting the
So can you make
PDF.
it not editable?
Not
and the answer is
editable?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I was going to show so we could just take a look. It's thinking. Okay, so there's a protect section. But I have not, protect using a password. I haven't actually done this before, and I didn't cover this in this session, but it looks like you can. We might have to have a 2.0 session. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Alex, for sharing that. Okay, so bookmarks are fun. You can also combine PDFs. We do this a lot when we do interlibrary loan in the library. Sometimes we have to combine stuff or move stuff around, or I do. I don't know if everyone else who does it, but you can combine PDFs. So all you have to do is select combine files and add files. You can actually add like a Word doc with a PDF, with a PowerPoint. They can be different file types. You just select the files you want to combine together and you choose open. What you'll do then is see a page of little thumbnails of each of your pages, and you can drag and drop them to reorder them. You can also hover over them and you can click the trash can icon if you just want to get rid of one. So sometimes you have an extra page you don't need. So when you organize your files, you can actually, get rid of one if you need to. And just be sure to save your file once you've combined it. You can also just add a single page to a file. So you might have a file open. You can go to the Pages panel, which I believe is on the left-hand side, which is pictured here. The Pages is this double page icon. You could choose the little menu option and insert pages. Just choose which page you want to insert or pages you want to insert and choose open. You can choose how you want them to insert before or after, and you can click OK. If you insert them and they're in the wrong order, just remember you can drag and drop to reorder them so that it'll work for you. I love the organize section because it's so easy to reorganize a document that way. Organize pages. So this is the one that I've used quite a few times and is super easy. Each of these options is under organize pages. You can change the order, again, dragging and dropping the pages. You can insert pages and you can rotate them. So if one is rotated upside down, sometimes people scan something upside down. This is also an interlibrary loan. When we order an article from another library, sometimes things are scanned funny. You can just rotate that page around with the rotate icon to get it in the right order. Okay, so someone did a keyboard shortcut, and I'll add that to the slide. You can also hit the F4 to bring up the Pages tab. Shift F4 to bring up the Tools tab. I'm terrible at keyboard shortcuts, but I love when you guys share them because I never remember them, but I will add them to the slides for other people. So organizing is easy, just drag and dropping, deleting, rotating. You can also export a document to another format. So if you have a PDF and you need to make major edits, maybe you can export that PDF to Word. There's other options you'll see in the screenshot that you can export to. You'll just go to File, Export, choose the file that you want to export. A window is going to open and you're going to choose Settings and Save. You can also, under the settings, you can change which type of layout you want. I usually just do the retain flowing text. Also, if you mess it up, you could do it again, try the other option, but just to let you know, under settings, there's an option for retain flowing text and retain page layout. Most of our things are probably pretty text heavy, and that's what the flowing text is for. So exporting is pretty simple. You can also export an image. So I do want to say, if you're exporting images and you don't own the images or you're not sure of the copyright, be careful how you use them, because I'm a librarian and I don't want you to use them inappropriately or steal anyone's images, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe there's an image you need to pull out because you can't find the original one. You could go under Tools and export a PDF and choose Image. You could choose to export all the images from the document, or you can just choose one, I believe. I actually don't remember now that I said that, but I chose export all images and save. So I'll have to practice that again. But you can export images. So sometimes you can't find the original file. If it's your image, you can export that and save it. Feel free to speak up if anybody has thoughts on these things. So a couple of best practices. It's always better to edit the original document if you're making major edits. So You can edit a PDF in Adobe, but there's only so much you can do. So if you can go back to the original Word document or whatever file type it was, that's a good idea. Don't export text and images that you don't own. These are most likely copyrighted, so be careful what you're exporting and how you're using it. Follow all the policies. You can also check out LinkedIn Learning. They have a whole class on Adobe Acrobat and what's possible with Adobe Acrobat. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Because I went super fast for some reason today. And I have this open if I have Adobe open if we want to practice anything.
I have a question.
Sure.
I came a little late, so you might have acknowledged this earlier, but I've had Adobe Pro and had a subscription, and now whenever I open it, it always tells me that my subscription is expired, and I try logging in with my MD Anderson email address, and it just isn't working. Is there somewhere else I need to like go to get a subscription for it?
So I would contact For Info because I think you might have to reconfirm with For Info. Was it it wasn't your personal
No, it's through MD Anderson.
Okay. So we several of us had that issue as well. You have to contact For Info so they can reconfirm the subscription.
Okay.
So I think it expires, after however long they've licensed it. And you should be able to log back in, but I think they have to reconfirm. And someone else mentioned cleaning out their cache, but I know
Oh,
everyone I know who had that problem had to contact For Info.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry. Any other questions about this, about navigating or suggestions? Okay, if you still have the steps for how you fix
I have
stuff.
a question.
Yes.
This morning I was trying to attach an invoice to a purchase order, and when I used the insert, it took it a long time to populate. Is that normal to
No,
attach?
when I've inserted it, it hasn't done that to me, but maybe there was just a glitch in the
Okay.
network or the system. Does anyone else have slowness when they're inserting or adding? What I've noticed with the new updates to Word is I'm having slowness in general. I don't know if other people are. I'm having slowness with copying and pasting. I'm having slowness with quite a few things. So I don't know if there's going to be, I'm assuming there'll be additional updates that will come out that will make that better. But sometimes there's just network issues. That's all I could say. Someone
Larissa,
else.
I have one thing. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but like with my new Outlook, when I try opening an Adobe file, it doesn't open directly into my Adobe. So I don't know if there's a setting I'm doing wrong or something because before I was able to do it. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but it's kind of
So
weird. And even like when they request me or they request like a signature, I don't see where I could put the signature anymore. I don't see that little box that comes up and tells you like add your digital signature here. It doesn't happen anymore. So I don't know.
okay. Yes. The new download part from Adobe is not great. So Anna has suggested in the chat to use the classic until that functionality is added. You can switch back to classic Outlook. I'm having the exact same problem. I think everyone's having the exact same problem. Adobe just doesn't work as well in the new Outlook. But
Okay.
I do know that they're giving a lot of feedback to Microsoft to try to get these things working better before we have to all finally switch to the new Outlook. So
Okay,
keep
I guess that's good news because that means I'm not alone.
You're not alone.
Good, thank you.
If we learn nothing else from this session or from tool time in general, none of us are alone.
Okay, good.
So you can always switch back to the old one until that gets fixed. And if we see it get fixed, we will let you know.
Great,
We'll let
thank
the whole
you.
group
Yes,
know.
thank you.
Part of the reason why Adobe and New Outlook aren't playing well together is because the add-ins are done differently between Classic Outlook and New Outlook. And so until Adobe and Microsoft catch up with each other as far as the add-ons are concerned, you're going to have to use Classic instead of
So
new.
So if you're really struggling with the new one, or just there's basic functionality missing from the new one, just please switch back to the old one. And I know that Anna's going to keep us updated on what's happening. And we're going to keep you updated on what's happening. And we're going to try to keep learning over time and sharing that information too as well.
Someone said a helpful tool that you can use is redaction, which I think is great.
Oh,
Because if you
yes.
are transmitting sensitive files, you can redact information in the PDF.
Yes. So maybe we'll do a 2.0 and we'll do some other advanced things. If you have other things you need to do in Adobe, just shoot me an email and we'll work on that, and we can do an Adobe part 2 session. Because clearly there's a lot you can do in Adobe. I just kind of wanted to cover some of that very general stuff. I do know that our archivist, both of our archivists, now we have a digital archivist and a main archivist. Anyway, our archivists redact content to protect patient information. So I can pull, Javier just put in the chat, I'm going to pull some tips from him too, if he has any pro tips about redacting information as well.
So also in the chat, people have said that they have trouble keeping Adobe Acrobat DC as the default PDF opener, and that it switches back and they have to change the settings. And I'm not 100% sure if that's related to the PAM, which is that permissions management aspect, or if there's something with Windows imaging. So that could be another 4info ticket to find out why it switches back.
Yeah, I've noticed some of the apps don't stick when you switch them, but that is a good question.